Natürlich dürfen auch die Youngsters nicht fehlen auf der hamradio online 2020, und zwar Youngsters on the Air. Ein Rückblick und eine Vorausschau aus dem Jahr 2019 und in das Jahr 2020, präsentiert von DK6SP von dem Philipp, den ich hier ganz recht herzlich begrüßen kann. Hallo Philipp.
Hallo Wolfhard und hallo liebe Community da draußen hier bei der hamradio online 2020. Wie der Wolfhard schon gesagt hat, mein Name ist Philipp Springer mit dem Amateurfunkrufzeichen Delta Kilo 6 Sierra Papa aus dem schönen Bayern im Ortsverband Charlie 25 Erding. Ich bin 22 Jahre alt, lizenziert seit 2011, damals noch mit Klasse E, habe 2013 Klasse A gemacht und bin seitdem sehr begeisterter Telegrafist, aber auch sehr aktiv in der Jugendarbeit. Okay, dann nochmal herzlich willkommen hier zu unserem Vortrag von Youngsters on the Air bei der hamradio online 2020. Wir werden jetzt den Vortrag auf Englisch halten, nachdem YOTA ein internationales Programm ist, eine internationale Initiative der IAU Region 1. Und wir hoffen, dass es euch Spaß macht. Bleibt dabei und meldet euch bei uns, wenn ihr irgendwas mit der Jugendarbeit macht. Und meldet euch bei uns, wenn wir euch bei Jugendarbeiten unterstützen können und so weiter. So, we're gonna switch to English now, as the YOTA, Youngsters on the Air, is an initiative by the IAU, International Amateur Radio Union, Region 1. And we will have a talk today about the Youngsters on the Air. We will give you an overview of the past activities we had during the year 2019 and 2020 and give you a little outlook what we will do in the future. So let's start. Here at first with Lisa Lenders, Papa Alpha 2 Lima Sierra, who is the IIU Region 1 Youth Working Group Chair. And she has a little welcome statement for you all. And let's get over to this. Have fun.
Hello, I am Lisa Leenders, Papa Alpha 2 Lima Sierra, and I'm the chair of the Youth Working Group of the International Amateur Radio Union, Region 1. I would like to wish you a very warm welcome, and I'm glad to see that you're joining this session, because it's a pity that we cannot meet in person this year at hamradio. But it is how it is. We had to cancel already many Youngsters on the Air events due to COVID-19. This also includes the YOTA summer camp, which we're going to be held in August in Croatia. But the good news is, we're still going to do the same again in 2021, so let's stay positive. Maybe you were already not able to join hamradio in Germany, and with this you can still be part of the online session and learn more about Youngsters on the Air. So I would also like to take the opportunity and to say thank you to DARC for bringing hamradio and both Youngsters on the Air online. In this session, you will just not learn more about Youngsters on the Air, but also about youth and amateur radio. We have several young people talking about their experiences in the Youngsters on the Air events. I really do hope that they will inspire you to start organizing your own activities related to youth and amateur radio. Or maybe they inspire you to share your amateur radio station or show your amateur radio station to your friends and family. Feel free to reach out to me, to someone else from the Youth Working Group, or anyone taking part in this session if you want to learn more. You can also always reach out to your youth coordinator, who can share you the process on becoming a member or to show more about amateur radio. So for now, I would like to say enjoy this session. I will give the mic over now to Philip, Delta Kilo 6, Sierra Papa, and Claudia, Delta Charlie 2, Charlie Lima. Enjoy, 73s, and bye-bye.
So thank you, Lisa, for your great welcome here to the Youngsters on the Air session here during hamradio online 2020. At first, we want to introduce you to our agenda today, what we will talk about. So at first, we will have the welcome, as you just saw. Then we will have some words about what is Youngsters on the Air, YOTA, who are we, presenting today, as well as an overview of events and activities since the last hamradio 2019. So this leads us over to the slides. Who are we? Who are we? Who are we? We are members of the working group, youth working group within the IRU Region 1. We have here Claudia, Delta Charlie 2 Charlie Lima. We have Lisa, Papa Alpha 2 Lima Sierra, in her position as the youth working group chair. And we have Susan, Papa Delta 3 Sugar Zulu November, representing today the Dutch camp, which we will talk about later. Together with our virtual guests, of course. Virtual guests, how do we mean this? We will see later during our talk, but be impressed. So.
Yeah, and of course, the question in the beginning is, what actually is YOTA? So YOTA is just an abbreviation for Youngsters on the Air, and it is an initiative by the IARU Region 1, and they have a youth working group, and YOTA was developed by this youth working group. And yeah, it was established in 2011. And yeah, for youngsters, actually everyone counts up to the age of 26. And the YOTA working group is providing a lot of different activities for those youngsters. For example, a summer camp, a sub-regional camp, the youth contesting program, etc. But we will hear all about these things later on in this talk. And yeah, these camps here mentioned, for example, also just start at the age of 15 normally. But the aim is actually to show the world that there is youth in ham radio. So YOTA is not just an initiative, it's basically a team of a lot of youngsters throughout the world, throughout Region 1. So it includes, of course, the participants during the different activities, but also the organizers. So it's a group of a lot of enthusiastic ham radio operators, yeah, and trying to spread out to the world that there is youth in ham radio, and for example, also through the Train the Trainer program. Yeah, but let's first see on how YOTA actually developed. So as I said, YOTA was established in 2011 in the camp in Romania. And shortly afterwards, the IARU Region 1 yeah, had a youth coordinator to continue with a lot of more different activities. So throughout the years, there have been several YOTA summer camps in a lot of different countries, organized by a lot of different member societies. But it didn't just stayed at the summer camps. It also developed further, and they have been present in the Friedrichshafen ham radio fair with a youth meeting, but also with the December YOTA month, with the youth contesting program, as well as the sub-regional camps. But as I said, we will see on how this we will see how these activities look like later.
So our next topic we will talk about is the overview of events and activities since last ham radio 2019. And as you can see in the next slide, we prepared some little timeline for you. So let's go just through this timeline here. So since the last ham radio, we held several events and planned even more. So we started at the ham radio booth last year, where we had lots of fun meeting up with worldwide youngsters and hams, followed by our 9th YOTA summer camp held in Bulgaria in August. In September, we followed with our sub-regional camp hosted by CRK and the Czech Radio Society in Czechia. In October, the focus, of course, laid on the youth contest program, where youngsters have been welcomed at the European big gun station LZ5 Radio in Bulgaria for an activity in the Scandinavian activity contest SSB, where they have been in first places. As well as in December, the focus was, of course, on our December YOTA month activity, where we have been achieving great success, but we will hear a lot more later on this topic. During the same time, also the last sub-regional camp in the Netherlands was held in December last year. And in 2020, we started even more enthusiastic with another youth contest and youth contest program activity at Lima X-Ray 7 India in Luxembourg, where the youngsters have been active in the ARRL SSB contest, the US-American contest in March. So then we all know what happened. The pandemic hit Europe. So we as the IIU Region 1 Youth Working Group had to make the hard, but in this case quite easy decision to cancel further planned events, unfortunately. But we will see soon. When we are able again to open events, and we'll keep you updated on this. These cancelled events were, for example, sub-regional camps in Serbia, in Norway, and in Hungary, but also youth contest program activities in Croatia at 9 Alpha 1 Alpha, and Spain at Echo Charlie 2 Delta X-Ray had to be cancelled. Furthermore, this year should have been a special one for YOTA worldwide. We would have had YOTA summer camps in all 3 regions, so worldwide. That means in the United States, as well as Croatia, as well as Thailand in Asia. But due to the global pandemic, as you all know, all had to be cancelled. But we are really looking forward to 2021, when all these events can probably take part again. We hope so. But as we are doing this HAMRadio meeting today, the trend goes to the online way, of course. So did we. We established our newest format, the YOTA Online, in May with a great success. Another thing to look forward to in December will also be the December YOTA month again. So stay really positive and get on the air and meet new people there and throughout the whole year, because this is the thing we do in our hobby. As we got through this timeline, let's focus on some of these main events within the YOTA initiative to give you a better insight on what we do now. Okay, YOTA Online. The first thing will be our newest YOTA format. It was established due to a big amount of youngsters wanting to take part in YOTA activities on the one hand side, but also currently cancelled events during COVID-19 pandemic is the other factor why we introduced this new format. So we really want to get new youngsters involved into our activities and to spread the word that there is still youth in ham radio. So this is also a format where we try this to achieve. So these sessions will take place once a month free of charge for everybody to take part in. We always stream live on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, and even via the QO100, the Qatar Oscar 100 geostationary satellite in ATV mode. So this is pretty awesome, I think. You even you can watch it online as well as on air. So isn't this awesome? Within these meetings, we are focusing, of course, on YOTA-related topics, and each session will be ended with a great prize draw with all attendees. At our first gathering, we welcomed over 600 unique viewers worldwide with good resonance throughout. So why not join us next time as well? As stated before, we run our annual YOTA booth at Ham Radio 2019 as well, which is on the next slide here. A little look back to this one as well. So we were at the booth for 3 days there. We held our annual YOTA dinner at Lake Constance. We did the flag ceremony handover from South African camp to Bulgarian camp. We held the international youth meeting, the YOTA train, which was kind of fun. We had a talk about the YCP, the youth contest program during Contest University, and even great prize draws each evening and many more things. We had really a great time together in Friedrichshafen, spreading the YOTA program to the world. So we provided a place for exchange between youngsters and interested people. So overall, we can say we had a great presence with a lot of youngsters involved into the preparations and taking place of the event. Here again, thank you again to everybody. A lot of youngsters also stayed at the DARC Ham Camp, which was organized by the DARC Youth Department, as also did Rico. Juliet Radio 2 Kilo Hotel Bravo, who is displayed here in the middle of the pictures. He's from Japan. He visited the Ham Radio 2019 as a part of a YOTA team Japan, and gave a presentation during the International Youth Meeting regarding YOTA topics in Japan. And he even took the idea of doing a YOTA booth to the Tokyo Ham Fair afterwards. So we will show you this one here. This is the YOTA booth in Japan, where these two fellas here, they both have been in the YOTA Summer Camp 2017 in the UK, in England, in London. And they are working for the youth now in Japan and getting all them on the air and stuff like this.
Yeah, and as mentioned before, we also have, of course, the summer camps, which is actually the program where everything started. So a summer camp actually is okay. The summer camp started in 2011, and it actually takes place for 1 week. So normally a duration of 7 days, and it's organized by a member society of the IARU Region 1 for youngsters. And yeah, it includes basically a daily program with a lot of different activities. Of course, ham radio related, but of course also something multinational to exchange the culture and yeah, also explore the host country so that we also get the multinational character of ham radio into this program. But of course, we're here for amateur radio, and this is also the main focus on these camps. So there are different activities for different types of amateur radio. Of course, there is always a station, which is QRV, but also different activities. And to actually show you what these activities look like, or what are these what you can actually build at these activities, I have a collection of a few things here which I would like to show. So one actually is the antenna we see in the middle. It is this one here. This was built at the YOTA camp in South Africa. And this is an antenna for satellites. So I think this is quite cool, especially for youngsters who might live in the inner city or something, who don't really have much space for setting up some ham radio stuff. I think this is a really nice way to get on air and work some satellites. You just need your handheld, this antenna, and of course some devices where you can see at what time which satellite will appear. But I think this is especially for youngsters in inner cities maybe really interesting, or of course also in the countryside if they're interested in satellites. But also especially for those who prefer being outside and getting active outside, there's also this one here, for example, which was built at a summer camp in the UK. And this is a portable antenna for 17 meters. It is a ground plane. So here you have the 3 wires for the radials, as well as also one. So it's this way. So 3 wires for the radials, as well as another main wire. And yeah, I think this is super nice. So it's for 17 meters, and this works also pretty well with another kit, which I will show you soon. But first, I also would like to show another antenna. It's this one. This was built at the camp in Austria. And I think this is also a super smart idea, because it's really like compact and also nice if you want to do some portable stuff, because if you want to get the wire, you can just pull it out here. You can set up the wire somewhere and yeah, get on air. It's also really nice for portable activation or SOTA or something that way. And once you're finished, you can also just roll up the wire again, and you have everything compact, so no mess with the wire or something. And I think it's also really nice because this was first for cables for yeah, something else. So probably you will also find something this way somewhere in your house. And yeah, you can build also something like this. I can also show you this one here. The blue thing was 3D printed, and the inner part was, of course, also done by the youngsters to build up this nice antenna. But besides the antennas, there were also some kits, soldering kits, which were built. And I would like to show this one first. So this is, for example, the QSX it's a kit from QRP Labs. And this was built in South Africa at the YOTA camp. And I think this is also a really nice story to show that it's also can be inspiring for something else. So I actually always wanted to have a pink radio. And then there was one youngster who was also quite enthusiastic about 3D printing. And since this kit came without a box or a case, he just 3D printed his own case. And I thought this is nice to then maybe print is also a pink radio. So I also have, like, for example, this cover here. And yeah, I think this is really nice because I've done the soldering part for this transceiver. And it's also nice to have the transceiver in the end because it's an HF all-band transceiver. But it's also it also inspired me to get into 3D printing. So I haven't done anything with 3D printing before, and that was actually the first thing where I also learned and saw how 3D printing is done. So also these projects can lead to even other projects and inspire youngsters to do something similar. And we also have some other nice soldering kits. For example, this one. It was also made in at the camp in Austria, and this is a whisper beacon. It's for 20 meters. And it goes together, so it's like the part. This is the low pass filter for 20 meters. It's also really nice soldering activity. And then we have a Raspberry Pi, and together this makes the whisper beacon. And I think this is also cool because it includes, this project included soldering, as well as also setting up some radio stuff on the computer, which I think is also really cool, especially if you think of SDR radios, for example. I think this is also a really nice way, especially for youngsters who might not be that experienced, to get in contact with the software part of radio. And also a cool thing about this one here was after the camp, we had a contest, which was for 7 days, and everyone could set up, or every team who built such a kit, could set up the beacon, the whisper beacon at home or the club station. And then after 1 week, you can see, which team had the longest distance. So I think that was also a really, even after the camp, a really nice activity, and also like a different contest than the usual ones. And I also have here a third kit. This was built at the camp in UK. It's also a kit from QRP Labs, and this is a 17-meter CW transceiver. So this goes also pretty good with this antenna. So you just need these two things basically, and you already have the main setup you need to get on air. And I actually also really like this one because it has everything, even a small CW key. So even a small Morse key. So you really just need this one here. And I think this is also super nice for youngsters who would like to get outside, get on air, do something portable, or also for the ones who don't have much space at home or something. This is really super small, and you can solder, and also after soldering, you can get active, you can get on air. So I think those are really, really cool projects you also do at the summer camps. So this is one of the things you will probably build at the summer camp. And besides that, you will also meet a lot of other participants. So normally there are in total 20 to 120 youngsters taking place, and you can exchange with them, you can exchange with the organizers. And it's also really nice because it's really international. I think this is also yeah, one part of amateur radio. So I think this is also really nice for the youngsters to then see also in other countries, there are also a lot of youngsters and they share the same interests. And there are actually up to 30 countries in such a summer camp. So it's really international. And I think also really good thing here is that it's mainly funded by the IARU Region 1. And I think this is also super important, especially for the youngsters who probably cannot afford taking place at such a camp. I think this is really great that this is funded so that really every youngster has the chance to participate in such a camp. And I think such a camp really brings you further in understanding amateur radio, and also it will show you a lot of different aspects through the hobby. But to see actually, yeah, and to get more a feeling of the summer camp itself, yeah, I would like to speak with Susan because she attended the summer camp 2019 in Bulgaria. So hello, Susan. And yeah, I first have a question on, can you maybe tell us on how did the camp in Bulgaria look like? So some general settings of the camp.
Hi, yes, of course. So we were actually located in a hotel close to Sofia. I think it was called Bankia. We were there with around 80 people. You walk in, you have like the reception, you'd have a eating area, a swimming pool outside, and you'd also have a sort of bigger room where they would give lectures and we would have more meetings, and everyone would have their own room in the hotel, so everything was really close together, and you didn't have to walk that far, and you didn't get lost.
Okay. Do you remember the schedule? Like what kind of activities have you done? How many days have you been there? Like a short overview maybe on the things you have done there.
Yes, so the camp was from the 11th of August until the 17th of August. The schedule for most of the days was basically the same, like breakfast, trainer program, then some activities, lunch, another activity, a little bit of free time, and then dinner. Most of the free time you could also sit behind the station, Lima Zulu 19 Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha. We'd have, for the activities, we'd have different lectures or some workshops as well, like RDF and HST, also for the HF and the VHF antennas. We've also visited the Lima Zulu 5 radio contest station, and we went to the Milara factory as well for like going outside and exploring. We also visited Sofia itself. So those are kind of the activities that we do during these camps.
Okay, so what was your favorite part? What did you like most of the program?
My favorite part was actually visiting the Lima Zulu 5 radio contact station and the Milara factory. It was just really impressive to see that there's like this whole park of like really big antennas, and at the Milara factory they produce products that help in the production of electronics, which also really fits with my studies. That was really interesting to see as well.
Okay, and yeah, well, why would you recommend youngsters to go there? So what are the reasons why youngsters, yeah, should take part in such a program?
I would really recommend it because you get to meet a lot of new young people from different cultures with different experiences of the radio hobby. And during these camps, you also get like a lot of activities and different lectures about all the different kind of aspects of the hobby. So you can explore the hobby there as well.
Okay, pretty cool. Thank you, Susie, for sharing your experiences with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, so our next main topic will be the YOTA sub-regional camp in the Netherlands, 2019. But at first, I want to give you some facts about what is a sub-regional camp. So these sub-regional camps have been established back in 2018 to give more youngsters the chance to attend YOTA activities, as the summer camps have been that crowded, and we had a lot of people who wanted to go there but couldn't because it was limited space. So we created those sub-regional camps. It is held as a smaller version of a YOTA summer camp with a maximum duration of 4 days. It will be organized by one of the IRU Region 1 member societies and includes a daily program with a lot of varieties, including, for example, topics in amateur radio, electronics, but also exploring the host country and their culture, of course. This event is also mainly funded by the IRU Region 1 Youth Working Group. And important to say here is that we want to produce kind of no cost for participants. They just have to travel there, cover these costs, and pay a symbolic camp fee of around 25 to 50 euros to spend an awesome camp, including all meals, a place to sleep, and the activities. All together is funded here. And as you saw, the projects which Claudia just showed us, this is really nothing for this amount what you get there. So I think this is an awesome for all youngsters to get in contact with youths with the same interest from different countries. It is just a great chance to network within the common hobby. So on the next thing, I will speak again with Susie, who was also a participant during the YOTA Sub-Regional Camp 2019 in Oosterhout in the Netherlands. I hope this was pronounced okay. And yeah, I want to ask you also some questions, Susie. So also again, what was the general setting of the camp in the Netherlands?
Yeah, the general setting here was like it was a bit in the middle of the woods, but not too far out. It was basically like a scouts camp. There was this big I'm gonna start that again. So the general setting of this building was a little bit in the middle of the woods. It was this scouts building. There was this big room where we would have breakfast, activities and everything, and there was this room next to it where we had the radio, and close to that were the sleeping quarters.
Okay, super. Can you give us a short summary of the schedule or activities which were planned, or what you even did there?
We had different kind of activities. We had, of course, the intercultural evening, because there were people from 10 countries represented there. We had lecture and presentations from satellites. We had the off-air contest as well. We did some kit building. We had a treasure hunt. And of course, Papa Alpha 6 Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha was also active on the air. Okay, super. Now a personal question, Susie. When you're saying all this, what was your favorite part of the program then? I really liked the kit building, because I love to like be busy with my hands and solder a bit. So I really liked it. It was a QRM detector kit. Okay, super. So what kind of radio knowledge or experience level does a participant need to have to be able to participate in such a sub-regional camp? I would say you don't have to be experienced, maybe just interested. Everything is explained really easily, and it's more of a get to know instead of like really deep into the subject. It's a little bit, but that's more for the people who are a bit more experienced. So you have different kind of lectures where they can attend in their levels. Yeah. Kind of. Okay, super. Again, the question, as we had for the summer camps, what is or are the main reasons why you would recommend others to go to such a camp? I would recommend people to go to a sub-regional camp, because that's the way to get to know more youngsters in your own country, and also get the experience of having a little bit of an international feeling to the camp, since there are people from other countries joining as well. And here you can also just explore the hobby, see the different sides of it. Okay, super, Susie. Thanks for answering all these questions. I hope you had a lot of fun participating there. And
now we are switching over from the participants view to the organizing part. And as it was not the first camp held in the Netherlands, as we learned before on the timeline, I think it was not hard for you to gear up everything to make the camp possible, Lisa, huh? Thanks for joining us today as well. I want to ask you some questions as well. So at first, probably which steps have to be taken for such an event for the society itself to gear up such an event?
That's a good question. First of all, you need to find a few people who are really motivated and want to organize such a camp, because you don't want to do this all alone. After that, you can make or have to make an application, because for organizing a sub-regional camp, you have to apply to the youth working group of the International Amateur Radio Union Region 1. And they will select certain member societies to host such an event. Because our only possibility to host about 3 or 4 camps per year at this moment. So we've done that first, and luckily we also got the answer very quickly that we are one of the lucky ones hosting a winter YOTA in Oosterhout in the Netherlands. And after that, we start to search for a location. This is one of the most important things, to find the right location, because you need to find a building where about 35-40 participants can sleep, but also some of the organizations should stay there. So let's say up to 50 persons. It needs to provide, or you can cook also yourself, but at least you need to provide 3 meals a day for those persons. And it also needs to have a big room for presentations. Also, we wanted to have some outside space. As you can see on the picture, it's a field of sand where we placed the antennas. And we were very lucky that we were in the middle of a forest. So we could even do in the winter some outside games. We were lucky that the weather was, we call it Dutch dry. So it was sometimes raining and sometimes not. But even one evening we could do a campfire outside, which was really cool to do. Yeah, next to this, it's very important to create a program. 4 days sounds that it isn't not that much, but you want to do many, many things, and you still need to find many people to help you out, to give presentations, to do kit building, and we do a pub quiz, intercultural evening, because you don't want to do only amateur radio activities in those days. You also want that the participants get to know each other. So we really carefully thought about how can participants meet each other in only such a short time. So we had about 35 participants, and we divided them all in groups, in 6 groups. We mixed all the countries and everyone over the place. And we started with name games on the first day. They really get to know each other. We even made a challenge out of it. We called it the Winter YOTA Games. So each team had to really challenge and to win a game. And one of the rules was, for example, which team makes the most QSOs? Which team makes the most QSO using the Oscar 100 satellite? You also had a station for that. Or which team made the QSO with the furthest distance? But also all the games we are doing, like the pub quiz. We did an outside treasure hunt where we hid questions in the forest, and the teams had to search for them and answer them, and run around and be as fast as possible. And with all those games, they could gather together points. And in the end, we had a winning team, which won the game. So that's basically a lot already containing. Of course, it's also very important to have a big group of volunteers helping, because it's not just making a program, but like I mentioned before, you need to have people doing the presentations, but also people who are building the radio station and also helping the youngsters to make the QSOs, because for some of the participants, it was even the first time that they made a QSO. So they also need to have some guidance with that. So yeah, we had a big group of people helping out, which is very, very helpful.
Okay, that sounds awesome, Lisa. So what kind of topics should be taken into account while planning this sub-regional camps?
Yeah. So one of the major ones is a location, like I mentioned, but it should also be a radio station. We had a HF and VHF station, but also a satellite station for the Oscar 100 satellite. Very important that location also provides 3 meals a day, has the big room available, but also very important is the budget. So one of the main sponsors here was the IRU Region 1, but we also found the VERON, the Dutch Member Society, available to sponsor also a part. And next to this, also local clubs sponsored, For example, ICOM, Amcom sponsored the radios, so that's also very important.
Okay, yeah. So financial issues, you didn't have any to say, like.
It sounds very easy if I mention it like this. In the end, not indeed. But I have to be honest and have to say that in the beginning it was quite. You have to really take time to really make proper promotion and to get this sponsorship in. But we are very thankful and happy that you did find those sponsors. Maybe also good to mention is that the last evening of the camp, we organized a so-called Winter YOTA night. And there we invited all our sponsors. And many of them are also radio amateurs, which are a member of one of the local clubs. And they come together to the building here in Oosterhout, where we shared Winter YOTA night. And there, all the teams, they presented what they have learned in the last days. And after that, presentations, we had a nice drink together and a campfire. So it's also very important to say thank you to the sponsors and also that we showed what we have done.
Super, that sounds awesome. Probably which knowledge or pre-experience should an organizer have to host such a camp?
Yeah, it is very welcome if you have some experience in organizing camps, but it is not necessary. The most important is that you are motivated and enthusiastic and that you really want to do it. I would really recommend everyone to say just do it. Maybe to talk about my own experience, I've done this before. But the first camp I organized in 2012 together with some other people. But before that, my experience was very little. And we also made that happen. So I would just say, do it.
Okay, so everybody is invited to do such a camp within the member societies. So my last question today for you, Lisa, is probably the most important one. How can I advertise the camp to get youngsters coming into the camp?
Yeah, that's a good one. Use social media. Instagram, Facebook, website, name it. For this one, we used actually hamradio Friedrichshafen last year. We printed flyers and we shared it there to the youngsters. And I think that's also one of the reasons why we were able to find so many young people, because several of the youngsters you see in the picture we met also last year at the hamradio fair. So also that is a good moment to promote your event. But mostly use social media and also, of course, your magazine of your local society.
Okay, super. Thanks to you, Lisa. I hope it was overall not too much work for you and the whole team. And it was fun hosting the event in the Netherlands. And to end this topic, we also received a greeting from the whole team, including all the attendees. Have a look.
Thank you, RADIO Region 1, to making Winter YOTA possible.
Thank you! Yeah, and we've now seen the big summer camp, then the smaller sub-regional camp. But I think it's really important also to mention the smaller activities, because of course it's nice to have all these international camps going on and these international activities, but still the main part is also within the member societies. And this is why I would like to share an example from Sweden. So the Swedish youth team created a small weekend camp. It was in December in 2019. And this was at Sierra Kilo 7 Alpha X-Ray, so the club station from the SWAG Amateur Radio Club. And they have a really nice club station there, also with a kitchen with a little bit of space, such that every participant can take their sleeping bags and find a place to sleep with an air mattress. And of course, also a station. And what they did, they just went to this club station for one weekend with 6 youngsters, and there was also another really smaller youngster coming by for just one day, and they just spent the weekend at the club station. They've been QRV on air a lot, and they managed everything on their own. So also maintained the antennas if there was something, and also they helped each other a lot. So on one picture you can see a smaller kid coming by, and then the more experienced youngsters will help him on logging and explaining him some things. Yeah, but also it's nice on the other picture. You can see someone trained a little bit CW while listening, and yeah, and I think it's really worth mentioning here also that you don't really have to have much to do such a camp. So it was just a club station. It was for one weekend. And it started on Friday afternoon in the supermarket to buy some food, breakfast and dinner. And lunch, of course, and then they just went to the club station and had really nice and great simple weekend there. And I think those are also really activities which are possible in every member societies. Just collect some youngsters around, go to such a club station, or even at home, just gather together. I think also these smaller activities are really are also really important to connect the youth, especially on a local area, and also to have, if you would like to do something and if you need some inspiration for that, there's Train the Trainer. So this is also something which the YOTA, within the YOTA initiative. So it's Train the Trainer, and it's basically a platform where youngsters can, or also organizers can exchange their experiences on creating some activities for the youth. It was established in 2018, and since then there were a lot of reports coming in from the member societies describing on what happened within the member societies during the last time, what are their future plans, and yeah, what activities have they done? How did they organize them? What went well? Where were some issues or some problems? And yeah, I think this is a really also like good input for other youngsters and other youth departments. And yeah, it's just like a platform to share some ideas. And I think this is also a good source for some inspiration or something if you would like to set up a small activity on your own. Du bist noch stumm geschalten. Du kannst vielleicht noch irgendwie etwas überleiten vom Camp zum, weiß im Dezember war. Das habe ich vergessen.
Okay, so as we had the Swedish camp in December as well, they have been active as well as Sugar Hotel 9, Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha, participating in the DYM, the December YOTA month, which we'll talk again about now. So the December YOTA month itself is a 31 days of youngsters activity event on the air, on HF, VHF, satellite, or wherever. Just be active on the airwaves with special Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha YOTA call signs. And we also have a free award program where you can just participate within the DYM activity, make as many bands and mode slots with YOTA stations as possible, and then go to the homepage events.ham-yota.com, download your free award. It will tell you which status you have from bronze to platinum. But I don't want to talk anymore about this topic because we have a guest speaker who is Tommy, Hotel America 8 Radio Tango from Hungary, who is in charge of the December YOTA month activity.
Hello, I'm Tommy, Hotel Alpha 8 Radio Tango. I'm the manager of December YOTA month, and I would like to share some information with you about it from the last year, 2019. As you might know, the purpose of December YOTA month is bringing together young licensed or still unlicensed amateurs to the microphones and keys. And last year was a great year for us because for the first time we made almost 130,000 QSOs. We had the first time great activity from Region 2, including the US, Canada and Chile. We had 48 participating stations, and for the 130,000 QSOs, we had 2.7 thousand downloaded awards from the other participating stations who were calling us. Out of these QSOs, 42% was made on SSB, 34% was made on CW, and 24% was the rest was mainly made on FT8 and FT4. Our money bands were 80 meters, 40 meters, and 20 meters. All of them, both of them, applying for about 30% of the entire QSO numbers. But these are just numbers. The main purpose is to have youngsters making as many contacts on different bands, different modes, also satellites, so they can enjoy themselves, they can come together, they can also spread the word of YOTA, and maybe for the next year we can have even more participants and even bigger scores, QSO numbers. So this was a great success last year. Many countries were organizing their own camps for the December YOTA month. There was also one sub-regional camp in Netherlands, participating with the call sign Papa Alpha 6 YOTA. And for example, also in Finland, I had the pleasure to visit Oscar Hotel 5 Zulu station, where they were organizing a meeting for a weekend, a long weekend, 3 or 4 days. And in Hungary we also organized one youth meeting on Hotel Golf 6 November, which lasted almost 1 week, so we could get to know each other and make as many QSOs as we wanted on the station, in the contest station. Our most performing stations in the December YOTA month activity were the Ukrainians, Echo Mike 5 YOTA. The second one is Delta Hotel 0 YOTA, with almost 10,000 QSOs as well. And the third one is Golf Bravo 16 YOTA, from Great Britain, United Kingdom, and they were making over 8,000 QSOs. So for this, I would like to say thanks to all the YOTA teams for making this happen, for having this awesome experience, and also I would like to say thanks to our team, the December YOTA month team, the IT group, and also Jamie M0SDV, who has managed our QSO cards for another great year. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'm Tommy, Hotel Alpha 8 Radio Tango, signing off.
Yeah, and I think especially for the youngsters who are mainly interested in getting on air and be active on the radio. There's the youth contesting program, which I think is really interesting, the YCP. So the YOTA team is actually in contact with some big gun stations throughout Europe, and it's possible that they open their station for youngsters. So normally they announce a contest where they invite youngsters to join the station. So there can be up to 6 international youngsters at the station, and then they can also invite some local youngsters to take part all together as a youth team in a contest. And they can operate at this contest station, and that they can improve their contest skills, and really try to learn by doing, and try to get to the best results without really having much pressure or something. And I think this is also really a nice opportunity to see these big gun stations, to also get to know really experienced contest operators. And it's also, I think, really nice here to mention again that it's basically open for every youngster. So of course you need to be a member in a member society of the IRU Region 1, but you don't really have to be an experienced contester or something. So you just need to have some basic knowledge on transceivers, so you should know on where to switch bands, or yeah, just the general settings on a transceiver. But once you know that, it's totally fine to go to this program, because it's also really it really wants youngsters to just get on air and get active. And here it's again also mainly funded by the IARU, so I think this is also really nice. So every youngster can attend such a program. And to see also what it is like and what kind of expressions you get there, we have a video from Simon.
I hate contests. Contests are so stupid. It's just shouting numbers, no real signal reports, blocking the entire band almost every weekend. It's just like uncivilized macho behavior, success of the one who screams the loudest. Boy, I was wrong. I found out I hate contests because I simply didn't have any other chance. I didn't like it because I never felt equal to them, one of the winners to win the cup. Yeah, since YCP, the Youngsters on the Air YCP Youth Contesting Program, fixed this for me. Together with other young radio amateur, I was sent to Lima X-Ray 7 India, a great contest station in Luxembourg. We were trusted to take over the big gun station for the great 2020 ARL DX SSB contest. I think with the young people's enthusiasm and the right setup, we can create some magic moments in amateur radio. As far as pile-up is also a form of recognition, I think we deserved it. Thanks YOTA for changing the way I now think about contests. Whenever again the material means appear for me, I'm ready to join the game.
Yeah, and of course, the problem within all these YOTA activities is that it's from Region 1, so it's mainly just for the youngsters within member societies from Region 1. But we're actually really happy to also announce some summer camps in the other two regions. So sometimes we invited some member societies from other regions to join the summer camp to see how YOTA is done here, to inspire them and to show them on how we do the job here. And now we're really happy to announce that there's also YOTA in America. It's called Youth on the Air, as well as also a YOTA summer camp program in Region 3. And so as we mentioned shortly before, there should have been camps in both of these two regions, but unfortunately they had to be cancelled. But nevertheless, we have a short introduction video from Neil about the camp Youth on the Air in the Americas.
Hi, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, the director of the inaugural Youth on the Air camp in the Americas. We're very excited to start our journey into ham radio camps for our younger hams. It all started back in 2016 in Austria when two of our committee members, Sterling Mann, N0SSC, and Sam Rose, KC2LRC, were sponsored to go visit YOTA camp in hopes of replicating it here in the Americas. After talking with them about it, I volunteered to head up the plan to get the camp off the ground. We had most everything ready to go for June 21st this year in Cincinnati, Ohio, when the pandemic hit. We looked at other dates, but some of our venues were no longer available, and we decided to postpone until 2021. We're really just copying just about everything from the Youngsters on the Air program because we've seen its success, and as a teacher, I know that young people will often ask their peers when they won't ask us teachers, which honestly is a little frustrating sometimes. But it's a reality, and so we want to bring that here. We did make a few changes, though. For instance, you may have noticed that we named our camp Youth on the Air instead of Youngsters on the Air. The word youth has a very different meaning in the Western Hemisphere. While the term youth is usually associated with troubled youths in Europe, youth is a very favorable term here in the West. Youngsters is a word that implies that it's used by a very old person here in the West, and usually means it's a young person who is very inexperienced. So we changed that one word, but we're still the same kind of program. We're so thankful for the Youngsters on the Air leaders we've worked with, like Lisa and Philip and Tommy. We've partnered on YOTA month, and we're working on more projects together in the future. We also have a lot more legal issues here in the Americas, as well as being a very car-centric society in the U.S. So we've adjusted our housing plans and had a lot more legal paperwork and more insurance coverage to deal with. We've got a lot of work left to do. This is just the first camp, and we have a goal of establishing sub-regional camps across North, Central, and South America within the next few years. We also want to rotate the location of the Region 2 camp and get more involvement from all across the region as well. We want to get our young people more involved with the day-to-day planning and operations once they get some experience. But for now, we're happy to get the camp underway in 2021. We also have the Young Amateurs Radio Club, or YARC, that started the youth contesting program here in the West. Again, there are some slight differences because we use smaller contest stations as well, but we hope that program continues to grow in the future as well. It's because of the groundbreaking work that's been done with the Youngsters on the Air program that we're able to replicate these plans here in the Americas. If you want to know more about us, check out our website at youthontheair.org. 7-3 from Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG in Bloomington, Indiana, USA.
So as we heard already from Neil, WB9 VPG from Region 2, also the Region 3 prepared a YOTA summer camp to be held in Thailand. This is the first camp in Region 3, which covers Asia and the Pacific area. So let's shortly speak about their plans as well. So they are also kind of inspired by our program here in Region 1 in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. So they are also doing the program in cooperation with the National Society, RAST, as well as the IRU Region 3 Youth Working Group. So their program consists out of workshops, like how to operate satellites, building antennas, getting on the air with a special events call sign, doing a fox hunting, ARDF, and other cool things. So this opens a great new opportunity for a lot of youngsters in the same age to network within the own society, as well as other youngsters around in Region 3. It is a win-win situation for all of them.
Yeah, and to not be too sad about the cancellations of all these events. As mentioned before, we created YOTAonline. So we had the first session end of May and the second one end of June. And yeah, everyone is welcome to just join and watch. We just pick some topics regarding YOTA and presenting it. And you can also rewatch the sessions so far on the YouTube channel. But we're, of course, also happy to welcome everyone live during the session, because we would like to do it also a little bit interactive with everyone who would like to watch. And of course, we would like to invite all the youngsters joining for this session.
So at the end of this meeting of Ham Radio Online 2020 today, I want to thank again everybody who was involved in getting this done so smoothly. This thank is not only going to the DARC and their awesome team for offering us this opportunity in difficult times, but also to all involved on the YOTA side, as well as all the youngsters worldwide for giving us the great feedback and will to expand the program so fast and open for many, many more youngsters in the future. So please follow us on our social media channels to never miss anything again regarding YOTA. Any news, just follow us there. If you have any ideas or just want to talk about our current projects, feel free to contact us directly on one of the following opportunities here on the slide. Thanks again in the name of today's crew, and hope to see you later on the bands or wherever we will meet. 73s from Philip, DK6SP in behalf of today's crew. Bye-bye.